You don't want the government to tell you where your money goes after you pass away.
What is estate planning and why is it so important? We're going to talk to lawyer Steve Grover about that on today's Ask the Lawyer. Steve, thank you for joining us.
Hi, nice to see you again. Thanks for having me again.
Always a pleasure, Steve. Now, I know your law firm handles personal injury cases and serious accidents, but lawyers at your firm also handle estate planning. So talk to us about what estate planning is and why it's so important.
Yeah, I mean, we do a lot of personal injury, and sometimes there are quite a few wrongful death cases that come in. And, unfortunately, not only are we litigating the personal injury file, but sometimes people come in without a will and say their husband's been deceased in a car accident by, unfortunate circumstances. We do help with the grant of administration if you don't have a will. We go into that procedure. But estate planning is essentially, you spend your whole life working, accumulating wealth, buying stuff, and what you need, I recommend, is as a will, because you want to have direction of when you pass on, where your money goes to, if it goes to your spouse or your kids. Also, estate planning also involves doing a power of attorney, or if you're incapacitated, you can have someone step in your shoes and do your banking, do your affairs, say that you're in the IC unit at Foothills Hospital in Calgary. And then there's also a personal directive where you direct someone to do something in your capacity also for a certain aspect. But I think estate planning is, part of personal injury, unfortunately, in wrongful death cases. But generally, I recommend anyone out there to get involved in estate planning and have a will, because, you don't want the government to tell you where your money goes after you pass away.
Exactly. And you just talked about the components of an estate plan. When it comes to estate plans, does your firm have fixed prices there, or do you offer payment plans or even discounts?
Yeah, I mean, we do have fixed prices, and we don't really focus in the area. I mean, I in law school, I was quite interested in estate planning. I just found it interesting. You should have a will, and you determine what you do in life. You determine what type of job you have, but you should also determine where your money goes when you unfortunately pass on. And our office does estate planning. We have a lawyer that does it. I do it myself. We have fixed prices. We're not here to overcharge people. I think our prices are pretty reasonable. At the same time, unfortunately, right now we're going through a recession. We just came out of COVID-19, and I know a lot of people don't have a lot of money. And, I don't want someone to go to Staples and get that estate planning book for dummies. I don't recommend that, and just get a standard estate will or personal directive. I mean, I will work with people if you need 12 months, 6 months to pay off the bill on an estate planning package, like doing a will, personal directive, and power of attorney. I'll gladly help you out, because I think it's really important that people realize that you should have a will, to determine where your estate goes after you pass on.
And I think people who are on the fence about it now, not wanting to spend the money, are very gratified by what you just said there. So in your opinion, it's well worth the time invested to have an attorney help you out here.
Well, I mean, I'll give you an example. I mean, on the way to work, I mean, I know my wife gets mad at me, but I will stop to Starbucks or somewhere for a coffee, and there's a whole lineup of people out there, and that's $3 to $5 a day that you're spending in coffee. And, you spend your whole life working and getting educated and saving your money and, paying for your children's education and paying off your mortgage. And I just don't understand, why wouldn't you spend up to $1,000 for an estate planning package? So, in your own mind how your estate and the money you've accumulated will be dispersed, rather than trusting the government. And I know everyone doesn't like big governments and they don't want government to tell us what to do, but this is an opportunity to get a will, personal directive, a power of attorney, and have a determination of who takes care of your affairs if you're incapacitated, or where does your money go or your house goes when you pass on. So I think it's really important that you control what you do in life, but you should also control what happens after you pass on. And I just think people just need to realize, like, I'm shocked that people come in, unfortunately someone's passed on and they don't have a will in it, but you know what? They have all the toys at home. They have like cars and, TVs, but you won't spend up to $1,000 for a estate planning package. Especially our firm will actually do a payment plan and help you out pay it off, and make sure you have that in place. So if something happens, unfortunately, your family has closure to see where it goes.
Well, Steve, always great to talk to you, and we appreciate the insight.
Thank you. Thanks. Have a great day.
You too. And that's going to do it for this episode of Ask the Lawyer. My guest has been Steve Grover. If you want to ask Steve about your situation, call the number you see on the screen. Thanks for watching. I'm Tom Mustin for Ask the Lawyer.